All right, hey everybody, welcome back to Jim Bob's Garden. So today what we're going to talk about with Christmas coming up, what do you want to buy your gardener for Christmas? Well, now one, you could buy this handy dandy t-shirt, which we have on the Etsy store, and all proceeds go to my kid, well, most proceeds, to my kids, because the artwork, this is actually done by one of my daughters. She's the one who set it up, and the other one actually did the artwork. So that's a proceeds for other people. All right, so, but what I want to talk about, if you're like me, all right, and you grew up back in the day, what used to happen is you had a water nozzle like this. Now you can see, even with my superior thumb strength, that I can get it about 15 feet thereabouts. Well, no, actually that's almost 20, probably 20 feet, all right? But it's hard on the thumb, wastes a lot of water, and even though some people get pretty good at it and are able to direct it as they want, most people buy water nozzles. Now I want to show you these water nozzles down here and kind of give you an idea of the cost. So this is your standard. You got to screw it to open and close it, and that goes for somewhere around 8 to 10 bucks. All right, and there's different varieties and so on, but this one I've had for a long time. It still works, everything's fine. Then you got this one here, and this one works by thumb action. All right, now the only problem is, as it gets older, it gets tougher to move. All right, has multiple settings. You've got shower, cone, center, jet, mist, full, flat, and angle. All right, now of those I usually only use the shower, the jet, and full. Those are really the only ones that I use. All right, now this one, hang on, I'm gonna have to throw this over here and just drain water. Oh, look out! Ah, sorry, I really didn't expect that. All right, so now on this one here, it's the same thing. It has the different settings, all right, and it has a bail. Now the seals on here do get a little old, and makes it harder to turn, and that's why the nozzle, the thumb nozzle, is much more difficult, particularly if you don't have really strong fingers. All right, my wife hates these. All right, this on the other hand, you move with your one hand very easily, even after this one's here. Both of these are about a year and a half old, and this is like the deluxe version of it. Looks kind of like a fire hose. All right, so I'm going to show you all of these in action, and we're going to get a guesstimate of about how far they go. All right, so what we got, I've got these pots set up in 10, 15, 25, 40, and all the way down to that tree where you got the big trash can. That's 50 feet. All right, so we're going to get an estimate of how far everything goes. Now, one of the disadvantages of this type of nozzle is that you don't have any pressure control. You get whatever's coming out. The other thing is you can't get a real solid spray as far as, you know, getting a real long distance angle. So as you can see, and this one's old, don't get me wrong, seals are getting old, but what did I say, 10, 15, 30, so it's getting out there about 20 feet, about the same as what I could do with my thumb. Now I don't have to hold my thumb over there, but they're just not really good as a gardener. Better for maybe washing a car, because they just don't put out a lot, one, and two, you don't have a lot of controllability. All right, you can kind of kink the hose if you want to slow down the water pressure somewhat, but that's somewhat inexact, and again, just not as cool. So let's try the other one. Now these run for anywhere from 5 to 10 bucks. There's different varieties. You've also got the squeeze type, which you're fine as well. Does give you a little more control on the amount of pressure going through. All right, now this one, when I first got it, I really liked it. All right, for one, as you can see, I'm putting out, this is the shower nozzle, and I can put it all the way out to about 15 feet. All right, which gives me a little more leverage. I can go a lot of different directions, but if you're right up close like this, that's really hard on plants, especially really young plants. But I can back this down to where I'm just barely putting any pressure out at all, which is one of the handiest things about having the bale or the variable nozzle pressure. Okay, and then if we go to jet, I can get this one out. It's about 35, 40 feet plus or minus a few, which is handy because if I want to water that tree right there, I can do it from here. All right, and then I also have the full variety, which I use a lot because it puts out a lot more water, and that is usually what I use to water trees, and that one goes out to about the 25 foot mark. All right, which again is respectable. I can get some water out there and water my trees from a distance so I don't have to drag the hose everywhere. Now this one here, when I bought it, I want to say it was 16 bucks, 15, 16 bucks, but now from what I saw online, they were running about $10. All right, really nice present for your gardener if you got nothing else to get him. All right, because I know I appreciate it, I love them. It's made my life a lot easier. Now this one here, again, goes for anywhere from 10 to 15 bucks. Again, it's got all the different patterns. It's a little harder to see, but again, I really only use a couple of patterns. All right, so I got the shower pattern here, and this one again goes out to about 15 bucks. 15 bucks. It goes out about 15 feet. All right, plus or minus a few. It's a little more of gentle sprinkle rain. All right, and then when you go to this one is rinse, but it's a good one for watering trees and such. Now this one here, what did I say, 10, 15, 25. This is going out 25 to 26 feet, thereabouts. And then as far as the, oh, that's the full. And that was only going about 15. All right, now for a jet, it really doesn't go a whole lot further. It's about 30 meters. All right. But this is a nice, handy variety because I like the fact that you can use the bale to control how much water pressure you get, which means you can control the distance, you can control how much volume, and the pressure in particular when you're doing the light shower, and, you know, especially on small plants. I can back this down without having to go turn my hose down, and I get a very nice, gentle sprinkle that I can put wherever I want it. Or I can go from a distance and still get a nice, gentle sprinkle with a good volume of water. It takes some talent to be able to do this with the water pressure still on. All right, so now this one, the only place I saw it was at Lowe's, but these are both of these last, actually the two of the last three are Orbits, which, you know, is a good sprinkler variety. But this one here, when I put on the shower version, all right, it goes out to about 20 feet. All right, so it goes a little further, but it also has more of a jet spray. But again, you can back that down and completely control how much you get, how much water pressure, and where it goes. I really like these bales. Really like the bales, and we'll get into that here in a second. But anyway, so that's your shower version. All right, and then one thing I like about this one is you have several different varieties of spray or straight water jets. You got this one here where I can dump a whole bunch of water in a very small area, pretty much about as fast as it'll come out of the hose. Then I got this one here that goes a little bit further. All right, this one's probably out about 20 feet, plus or minus a few. And then you got that variety, which goes out to about 30, plus or minus. And then you got the really fine one, that gets out to almost to the 40-foot mark. All right, I'm probably hitting that with a small spray at the 40-foot mark. Now, I mean, how often do you need to water things that are 40 feet away? Well, if you got a short hose, this is not a comment on you fellas, but if you got a short hose, then, you know, it might be handy to have it, you know, with a longer jet. I will say that it gets a lot more pressure up close to wash and clean things. And then it's got the variety of others, you know, like the other nozzles do. I do like this one here. This is probably the one I use the most. Followed very closely by the one down here for anywhere from 10 to 15. Only thing is, this one goes for right at $25. All right. And again, you know, plus or minus depending on your location and so on. Of the bunch, all right, I would say this one is my favorite, followed very closely by this one here. All right, this one is, let me see here. This is an Expert from Walmart. All right, that's why it's a little bit cheaper. But I can get this one for less than half of the price of what I get for the high dollar Orbit. But if you're buying a gift for your, you know, significant other, your parents, or whoever else you might have that's a gardener, you know, I mean, $25 is not that big a deal for a Christmas present. Highly recommend it. If they don't have one, I would seriously suggest that you go not with these varieties here. Anything with a thumb control, eventually it gets old and the seals stiffen up and it gets really hard to press, particularly when it's cold out and when the water's cold. All right, the bale is a much better deal. Like I said, now you can get these very reasonably from various different stores, and there's a lot of different varieties, but I do like the bale a lot better because of the controllability and the ease of control. All right, and this is kind of the Cadillac. I really like this one here. I use it all the time. Plus, it looks like you're playing with a fire hose, which, you know, for us manly men, that's important. All right, so that's what I got going on. Again, if you're looking for a really good gift for your gardener, I would highly recommend one of these nozzles. Thanks for stopping by. Do me a favor, give me a like and a subscribe. Maybe check out our Etsy shop, which I'll give you the link to. See what you know, if you like what you see there. Now the prices vary depending upon the size of the shirt and the type of shirt that you get. We got several different varieties in there. Check it out, see what you think, and if you want one, by all means, grab one. All right, I'm not going to starve if you don't, and I'm not going to get rich if you do. So it's kind of up to you. We're making it available for people who want them. All right, with that being said, again, highly recommend a water nozzle for any of your gardeners. It's a great Christmas gift, stocking stuffer or what have you. I know I really appreciate the fact that I have these. It makes my life a lot easier. All right, so thanks once again for stopping by. Do me a favor, give me a like and a subscribe, and let me know what you think. Most importantly, grow something. Get something growing in your yard, and you'll thank yourself later on. All right, y'all take care and come back and see me.